Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to write to me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video or any other videos that I have posted in the past. If you have any video that you would like me to make, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. As Sabrina, a subscriber of my YouTube channel, recently wrote to me. She said she had not entertained any guests for a long time. In fact, this is the first time in the past 15 years. After she adopted my fast cooking system, she cooked this dish, and she was really happy about it. So I like to reproduce what she did and to show you how you can entertain your guests in less than 30 minutes, and your guest is going to love it. So the first thing she did is that she blanched some vegetables. The reason she decided to do that, because by blanching the vegetable, she can make the stir fry much quicker, and she can do this ahead of time before her guests arrive. So when her guest was here, she can cook the dish in less than 10 to 15 minutes, and the food will be on the table. And she decided she's going to use a combination of cauliflower and broccoli. She start out with the cauliflower first because that takes a little bit longer time to cook, and then she add the broccoli. It takes only about 2 to 3 minutes to blanch to the texture that she wants, and she set them aside. So the next thing she's going to do is that, again, she did this ahead of time. She's going to do some pan-fried spaghetti noodles. She realized that it is very unusual for anybody who are not accustomed to this type of dish to have spaghetti noodles to be pan-fried. However, on her personal experience, she knows that they're going to love this particular version of noodles. First of all, it is unique, and secondly, it has that crispy texture, which is really unique. Now in here, she pan-fried a fairly large batch of spaghetti noodles, which she cooked earlier. Now, as I have mentioned earlier, in order to prevent the noodle from sticking to the bottom of the wok, the best thing is to cook them in advance and then store them in the refrigerator for about 48 hours. This will prevent them from sticking. And when she does that, it will turn out perfect. Now, she actually fried quite a bit of noodles. There are 2 portions of noodles that she normally fry for her husband and herself, but since there are 4 of them, she decided she's going to double the version. Now, she started with a little bit of cooking oil, and as you can see that she makes sure that the heat of the burner is set to low, because this will prevent them from getting burned. She wants to brown them, but rather than burn them. This way, it will give the noodles a nice texture, but without them tasting bitter if they are being burned. As you can see in here, that the noodles start to brown. And of course, I think at least I have the heat a bit too high. Some of them burn a little bit. So again, make sure you adjust the heat properly. The best is that when the noodle is just the perfect texture, when they're slightly brown and they have slightly crispy texture, so they will not be too crunchy, but at the same time, it gives them a really nice flavor. This is the kind of texture that I really enjoy. So it takes about somewhere between 8 to 10 minutes to pan-fry the pasta noodles. Now she has a very large plate, and she's going to set them aside, and so it will be ready when her guests arrive. And she did this about maybe 10 to 15 minutes before that. It doesn't matter the noodle to be cold, because she's going to put the hot cooked stir-fry dish over it. When the guests arrive, the first thing she's going to do is she's going to shallow fry some chicken. She cooked the chicken in advance with some cornstarch. Now this is a really good way to get good flavor from the chicken. And the cornstarch will keep the chicken dry. In my case, the chicken is not as dry as I would like it. So consequently, they do not sear as well. The idea is that if you can keep them dry, so you will actually cause them to slightly char on the surface. And this will actually make them taste almost like they have been grilled. Now, in this particular instance, it was not perfect. Now, I actually cooked the chicken on a camping stove because I make this dish actually for some visitors as well. And so on the camping stove, I usually use my carbon steel wok, and you can use a stainless steel wok as well. But this is something that I'm accustomed to, and I'm just used to what I normally do. So anyway, I shallow fry the chicken, and you can see there are some browning, but I was not able to brown them as much as I would like. but I do not want to cook them any further because I do not want to overcook them. But nevertheless, the chicken is going to be tender and moist inside. And next, I'm going to season the chicken with a teriyaki flavor. Start out with some oyster sauce, and oyster sauce is followed by some hoisin sauce. Again, I adjust the ratio to the level of sweetness that I want. Some people like it sweeter, and some people like it more saltier. So this is very much your personal preference. Now, the reason I want to season it first because I want the chicken have this intense teriyaki flavor, because at the end, I'm going to combine the dish together. This is what I call it combinatorial stir frying. Okay, I'm going to set the chicken aside, and the next is that I'm going to cook the vegetables. And in this case, the vegetable already blanched, so they will cook very quickly. And the reason I want to cook them in this way for two reasons. Number one is that I want to warm it up properly. And number two is that I'm going to cook some shrimp with the vegetable as well as with some tofu. The shrimp and the tofu both take a very short amount of time to cook. So by the time when I cook the vegetable to the texture that I want, I will be able to cook the shrimp and mushroom to the same doneness that I'm looking for. Now, for the shrimp, I'm going to use some jumbo shrimp. I'm going to only use 4 shrimps because the reason is that the guests that are coming for dinner, I'm not sure they really like shrimp or not. But I'm going to use it anyway, and if they don't like it, at least I'm not going to have too much. And this is followed by some white mushroom. Again, I put the white mushroom at this juncture because both the shrimp and the mushroom require only a very small amount of cooking time. And then in this particular approach, I'm able to control how long I want to cook them. And since the vegetable has already been cooked, I have much better control in terms of determining their doneness. Now, this is the part requires some practice and also requires some observations. And then I'm going to add some additional oyster sauce to the vegetables and the shrimp, and together I add a little bit of hoisin sauce. Again, as you probably already know, these are my favorite sauce combinations. I really like the ability to vary the nature of the flavor by adjusting the ratio between them, because you can make them a little bit saltier or a little bit sweeter, depend on the food ingredients that you have on hand. The next step is to create a sauce. I add some cornstarch water suspension. Now, the sauce is important for this dish because the sauce will allow me to cover the noodles with sauce and make them more flavorful. Now, I can make further adjustment to the sauce or to the doneness that I want. Again, you can do all kinds of adjustment by adding additional water. If you want it to be thinner or you want it to be thicker, then you can withhold amount of water. And I'm going to add additional oyster sauce, and this is the part where flavor chasing play a critical role, because you want to continue to adjust the flavor after you add fluid, because it will dilute your flavor. And flavor chasing to me is really the ultimate goal. By constructing the dish that you like, you can adjust the flavor to how you like it. And ultimately, as the saying goes, you love flavor first before you love food. Now, I use a large plate, and I always recommend people who would like to entertain to have a large plate, because with this, you can combine different types of ingredients together. As you can see, I can set noodles on one side, and I can set this vegetable combination on the other side. Now, you notice that actually, before I serve this onto the plate, I removed the shrimp, because it turned out that my guests have an allergy to shrimp. He said every time when he eats shrimp, it makes him sick. So I said, fine, I'm going to remove the shrimp. And this is where the flexibility of home cooking is, because now you can make adjustments to whatever how you like to cook. Okay, now this is pretty much all set up and ready to go. Now the next step is that I am going to add the chicken. Now you notice that the reason I add the chicken toward the end, because this will retain the flavor of the chicken. If I have cooked the chicken together with the vegetable, it will dilute that flavor. So basically, this dish is a dish that with multiple combinations of different steps in cooking this dish. And the whole idea is to create a flavor that is maximum for culinary experience. Now, the reason for all of this is that when you prepare a dish, the best is that you can maintain the texture, the doneness, perfectly for each of the individual ingredients. And this is the objective and idea of this combinatory stir-frying. And this is why makes stir-frying so flexible, provide you with almost infinite possibilities and opportunities. In fact, the best dishes cooked in a professional kitchen is through this combinatory process. As you can see, there's nothing special about this dish because you probably already know the template for all of these individual components. And the creativity part is that how you able to combine them together. And finally, but not the least, I have some garden fresh tomatoes given to me by my friend, and I cut them up and put them on the side. And at the end, I'm going to garnish the dish with some scallions. Now, this dish might appear to be complicated to you, and this is why template-based cooking is so important. If you try to cook this dish, if I have to give you a recipe to cook this dish, you will be overwhelmed because there's so many steps. But if I break it down, you will find that cooking this dish is really quite simple. In fact, you can put this dish on the table really in about the same amount of time you would normally cook for yourself. And in this case, it takes only about 30 minutes. And furthermore, she was able to break them down into different components and different aspects. Okay, sharing food with other people is an important part of home cooking. It's an aspect which I think has been greatly neglected in the present day. And I would like to see people doing that again. Sabrina is a good example to show me, and she feels really great about able to put this dish together for her best friend and her husband. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking, and I will see you tomorrow.